actually totally forgot about the first one tonight. I was just in the middle of stuff.
That's why we go to the shear, no?
What?
That's why we go to the shear, because we're in the middle of stuff.
Right.
So now we don't have to be in the middle of stuff.
Correct.
Tonight is the Kitzur's Yahrzeit, by the way, too. I don't know if you-
Is it really?
Yeah.
Tonight or today?
Vav, Chavav.
So that's what, tomorrow or was it today?
Tonight. No, tonight. I think tonight.
So I'm saying it's
Tonight.
tomorrow night.
We should have pushed off the share.
Yeah.
How do you know it's the Kitzur's Yahrzeit?
I on one of the Hasidish WhatsApp groups, they post Yahrzeits.
Oh,
They posted the Yahrzeit tonight.
it's all very good. I'll bestell ticket.
Yeah. Oh, so on that subject, it's Marchuk just texted, right? It's his father's Yahrzeit. What's the name? Lev Mordechai ben Moshe is Marchuk. He said he's coming on in a minute. So we should have him in mind. Okay, tomorrow night I'm going to be in the city, I think. So I might have to do the daf a little early for those that like the late daf. I apologize. What?
Fine, you're forcing us.
Yeah, like probably like 7:15-ish, I would say. But I'll post it out when it's if it's for sure. If not, I don't know. Okay. Another action-packed daf tonight.
Where are you starting from?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember where we left off. Oh, yeah, 3 lines up from the bottom.
I'm paid out on my base, right?
Pay dollar on my base. Correct. Oh, we just said the Nishmas your father. Repeat it again, right? Lev Mordechai ben Moshe Neshama Zaban Aliyah.
Amen.
Okay, so let's see. So we were in the middle of the sugya of, and I have to tell you something fascinating because I actually got a shaila last night, mamish in the sugya, and how often do you get the shaila? So we've been discussing whether we go with the majority on pikuach nefesh. So the Gemara says that we don't go with the majority, meaning you have 9 people using, unfortunately, the Miami thing as an example. So let's say it was 90% goyim, which I think it probably is in the building, right? And 10% yidden. So normally the rule of majority would tell you that you don't save. You assume that the people stuck on there are from the majority, and they don't, and you shouldn't save them because they're goyim, right? But the halacha tells us that we go with the minority. So somebody was driving on a country road yesterday, and a lady seemed to have had passed out on the floor. Right? Should he call Hatzalah or should he call 911?
A lady what?
Should he call Hatzalah or call 911? Meaning, if she's a guy, call 911. If she's a yid, then obviously call Hatzalah.
On Shabbos.
What?
On Shabbos, you mean?
No, not Shabbos. Stam during the week.
It was yesterday. Yesterday was
Sunday.
Why?
Because one chance it's the yid and one chance it's a guy. You make a kiddush Hashem.
Right, but yeah, that's true. I hear that. Problem is lahalacha. You're not allowed to save a guy. Me'ikar adin. You're not allowed to save a guy. The guy is. I'm saying me'ikar adin. You know. So
Ava,
no, it's just an interesting shiloh. What? Ava, but calling 911 is fine.
Right.
Don't call them at all if you're worried about.
Yeah, but it's kemechza mechza.
Tiago, you can't say that.
No, it's parish. She wasn't at home. She's in the street. So it's called the parish miruba parish.
You said this was upstate.
It's Rav Goyim. It means it's Rav Goyim. Elamai. We go with the miyat. And the miyat, it's possible. There's a lot of yidden around here. So
Upstate?
Upstate.
So it could be upstate now.
It's not right. It's not Rav Yidden now?
Still Rav Goyim. In this area, it's still Rav Goyim. We're not in South Fallsburg, Woodburn. We're not in downtown.
And also, in the bungalow colony itself, it's Jews, but outside, it's on the road. It's
Correct,
all goyim.
and it's Parish. It's Parish. So Lamaisa, we were chayshish, but Lamaisa, today's Gemara says, yesterday's daf, whatever, it says that we're chayshish for the miyat, and there certainly is a miyat that's yidden around here. So Lamaisa, he called Hatzalah. So I mean, he didn't ask. He called Hatzalah. He wanted to know if he did the right thing afterwards.
And what was it a
What do
Jew?
you think?
I don't know if it was. I don't think he got stuck around. But he did also like yesterday's Gemara because he didn't ask a shaila. He did it, right? That's what we said yesterday, right? You do it. Don't ask a shaila. Pikuach nefesh, you do it and then you ask. All right. Anyway, so we had said that we go with the miyats, and the Gemara asks 3 lines up from the bottom. Pay dalet on the base.
What's the
Yeah,
issue to say? What's the issue to save a guy?
What's the answer to save a guy?
Issue.
It's loisechanim. You're not allowed to do anything for a guy, but etzem. Because of Ava, like you said, we allow it, right? But yeah, so that's a sugya. Fine. Okay, so then Gemara asks, does Shmuel say that we're chayshish for the miyat? But now we learned in the Mishna, matzah batinuk mushlach, right? If you find a child abandoned, mushlach means sent out into the street. Sim roiv kusi kusi. If it's roiv kusi, then it's a kusi. We consider it a kusi. Vim roiv Yisrael, then it's a Yisrael. Mechza Yisrael. So this sounds like in our case that we just mentioned, you consider the person laying in the street as a kusi. Yeah, but Rav said but that's only for making them live. But for yichus, we're not going to go. For yichus, we're going to consider this baby a guy. Right? Since the baby's going to be a guy, so then you're not allowed to. You can't. A kohen wouldn't be able to marry because you don't know if it's a guy, if it's a ger, or if it's a guy, whatever it is. Shmuel Amar. Shmuel says if akeach halav sagal. Shmuel says, right, that if it's roiv Yisrael, then you take off the stones. But it's mechza, you don't. And a kol sheken, if it's roiv goyim, then you wouldn't do it. So from here, Shmuel seemingly goes with the opinions that it's that we're not chayshish from it because it's saying we consider it a goyim. Yeah. So the Gemara says no ki itmar to Shmuel aresha itmar. When did Shmuel say his din? He's going on the resha, right? Now, what's the resha? Which is im roiv kusim kusi. If it's roiv kusim, then it's a kusi. And Amar Shmuel and pikuach nefesh ain't a kain. For pikuach nefesh, we don't consider it as kusi. I don't just hold on. Okay, sorry, it's not working. Fine. So, Amar Shmuel and pikuach nefesh ain't a kain. It's not like that. Okay. Fine. So now the Gemara says, "Roiv kusim kusi l'may hilchos." So he said, if the majority of people are kusim, right, and we look at it as a kusi l'may hilchos, so what's the halacha, right? So he's a kusi, yeah. Meaning you have to, if you're allowed to, if roiv, according to Shmuel, roiv of the city is goyim, you're still allowed to open up the rocks. You're allowed to remove the rocks on Shabbos, right? So then, what's the halacha that you let them live? The question is, can you feed this kid nevelis?
There's no din ger cotton.
What?
Wouldn't you say that? No, Gemara by ger cotton that you say it's lamafreya?
What do you mean, ger cotton?
Yeah, I mean, isn't the whole problem? Rashi says that we wait until he's mechalel geras, but isn't he a ger cotton? Do you not treat him like a ger cotton until then?
Yeah, so that's what Rashi says until he grows up.
Right, but isn't a ger cotton considered a yid?
I guess according to this, Rashi is not.
Isn't that the whole sugya that it's lamafreya?
I don't know. right? Yeah, but did we say that I'm afraid he's a yid to the point you can't feed him treif? I don't know.
If he's a yid, he's a yid. What's the point of saying he's a yid then? If I'm afraid he's not really.
He's not a yid, but why should you assume he's a yid? He was found on the side of the street.
The Gemara says it goes on my freya.
Yeah, but who? But this is not it. Why are you saying this guy's a ger katan?
The Rashi implies that we're going to do Geras when he becomes 13, so it must be that there isn't any Geras that you need.
He chooses. That's if he chooses.
It's different than a ger katan. We're not going to. It's not the same type of case.
I don't think so, but I don't know.
But either way, he's being a when he's 13 or 12.
If he so chooses.
That's true by a ger katan also.
Correct.
No, a ger katan is different. A ger katan already chose. You say the parents can choose for him. So he's already a yid.
I don't know why this would be a different case.
The malka b'patish with a ger katan is he can refuse when he turns bar mitzvah.
Right, and in this case also.
Here he's not. He's not at all. No, they don't make him a ger. They ask him when he's bar mitzvah, do you want to become a ger? Because it's problems. Ger katan today is very problematic. It's always problematic. We only do ger katan when the parents want it to.
The Gemara is stuck in the case, even if there's problems. I mean, the case of ger katan is one of the biggest cases in Shas. I don't know what that means if there's problems. This would be
only when the parents want the katan to become a ger. Here, there's no parents. There's no parents to become a ger. What?
Somebody's raising him. That's why the Rashi.
Here, okay, we gotta go. We're gonna go. It's a long daf, so okay, we could maybe fight it out after. But I'm not sure if this is ger katan or not. I'm not sure. But okay, either way, you could. But the Rashi here clearly saying that you could feed him nevelis. Yeah, Yom Roiv Yisrael l'mayil. So if we say it's Roiv Yidden, so what's the halacha? What's a negayed, right? So Gemara answers la'afsalei aveda, so to give him back an aveda. If this kid loses an aveda, you mechuyev to give him back. So if it's Roiv Yisrael, you got to give him back the aveda. Mechza Yisrael. What if it's 50-50? So what's the din of 50-50? L'mayil. So what does that have to do? So Amarish Lakish, nizakin for damage. Right, because damages, it's a very interesting din. By damages, so when a yid has a shar tam, which is just a shar that's considered innocent, and it happens to gore, he only has to pay half. Right? But if a guy's ox gores, then he has to pay full. He has to pay nezek shalim. There's no chatzi nezek by goyim. Right? So the Gemara says, so what's the case here? If our ox gored his ox, right? So he could say, Naisi Raya Venishkal, bring a Raya, right? That he's Jewish, and then take the money, right? Which means that we consider him a guy. Like Tricha Denachi Turadi the Turidan. No, so it must be Toma, where his ox gored our ox. So Palga Yavle, what he has to do, he has to pay half because that for sure he owes. And Idach Palga, the other half, Namelay, he could say to the Jew who got damaged, I see Raya, bring a proof, the Lav Yisrael Ano, that I'm not a Yid, right? Vishkol, and then you could take your other half. Meaning if he's not a Yid, he has to pay the whole thing. If he is a Yid, he only has to pay half. So he says, prove that I'm not a Yid. And there's no way for him to prove it. So that's what it means. Mechza mechza. So that's the din that fine. Mishna of lava players. So if somebody, if a building falls down on somebody, yeah. So my Omar, what is the Gemara saying, right? So loimi boy Omar, what the Mishna is saying is loimi boy safik hu sham safik eina sham. I don't need to tell you if it's this case whether maybe the guy's not under the building. Right, which is unfortunately again what happened in Miami. People didn't know, were they in the building, were they not in the building? Right, the say chayhu, right? And if he's there, he's alive. The mefakhin, then we're gonna. Meaning there's a doubt that he is alive, so we're gonna take it off. Elafilu suffix by suffix mace. But even if there's a suffix whether he's alive or he's dead, if he was there, some mefakhin, then we clear it. The limi by suffix high suffix mace. And I don't need to tell you whether it's a suffix chai, suffix meis to Yisrael, right? Where he's a yid, elafilu suffix kusi, suffix Yisrael mefakrin. Even if it's a suffix kusi, suffix Yisrael, so we take away all the rocks. So basically, what comes out here is that the Gemara is saying that even if it's a svek sveka, right, we're still going to be mata you to take off the stones on Shabbos.
There are
So
three
don't just
svekas. There are three svekas.
right, even a svek sveka, right? As long as there's any sort of suffix that goes on here, we're going to be mata. We're going to be mata you to take off the things, which is what comes out. That so it comes out of the Maisa. That's what we pass, and that it's a svek. Now, also, I forgot to say a kasha, right? That I was listening to one of Daf Yomi's Rabbi Razner's today, and he brought a kasha from Reb Chaim. Well, if we're saying that we go with the miyut, we go with the miyut of by pikuach nefesh. So then, how come if you have a bezdin, right? So bezdin haskins. So let's say it's a bezdin of 71, right? So let's say 65 paskin that the guy is chayav misa, and 6 of them paskin that he's not chayav misa. How come we paskin that he's chayav misa? Why shouldn't we say that for pikuach nefesh you go with the miyut, we go with the minority? Gershon doesn't like the kasha. All right.
You mean
Akiva,
the
how about
famous
you? You like
Machlokes
that kasha or
from
you don't
Rebbi
like that
Yehuda?
kasha?
It's
What?
a Gemara. It's a Gemara.
That what?
We have to continue.
That's Achari Rav Lahatis. Machlokes from Rebbi Yehuda.
Correct, but why is it Achari Ram Lahat?
Yeah.
That's Rashi on Rebbi Yehuda.
That
Says
what?
Achari Rav Lahatis makes it that the miyut becomes part of the roy, so it's koil.
Very good, very good. That's the teretz. That when it's a suffix, so then you go with the minority. But when it's not a suffix, when Bezdin Paskins, when a majority of Bezdin Paskins Chayav Misa, then there's no longer a minority. The minority gets swallowed up by the majority. Very good, Gersh. Very good.
Why is Bezdin Paskin like that?
What?
Why is Bezdin Paskin like that?
Why who?
Why is Bezdin Paskin like that?
That's the way you have. I mean, when you have a Bezdin, you have a Bezdin. Some say he's Chayav Misa, some say he's not Chayav Misa. No, isn't that your regular thing of
They're
Bezdin?
mechuyev to find Stadim to say he's not mechuyev Misa. It's a chiyuv on Bezdin to find.
Yes, of
If
course. They
the
have to
whole
try their
Bezdin
utmost.
asking Misa, he's potter.
They're gonna try every which way. That's why there's all sorts in the Gemaras and Sanhedrin. There's all sorts of ways of donning it to try and get him out of it. But if push comes to shove, right, then
And you push them off the cliff.
well, that's what happens, unfortunately. Okay, let's see about that. Matzu chai mefakin. So if you find him alive, so then you continue to remove the stones. Matzu chai pshita. If you know that he's alive, of course you remove the stones. Like tzricha, and then you get into major. Now we get into major. This Dr. Zakarowitz, this is for you. This next few lines, right? Like tzricha tafilu chayesha. Even if you know that this guy is going to live for 1 second extra because you remove the stones, then you remove the stones on Shabbos, right? Which is a major, major thing because unfortunately in the medical world nowadays, chayesha means nothing. By yidden, chayesha means everything, which is where you get into all, unfortunately, where you get into all the end of life issues, right? Because by the goyim, they say he's dying anyways. Who cares? Just let him go. Pull the plug. No, that's awesome, right? We're mechalel Shabbos. You call in every Jew in the world, every yidden in the world, to take off the thing, even if you know that this guy's going to end up living for an extra 5 seconds or even for an extra fraction of a second. Then that makes all the difference. Which, as growing up as an American, unfortunately, not such an easy concept to understand. Fine. Then we go right. But if he's dead, so you leave him. So hanami pshi, that's pasha. Why should you start being mechalel Shabbos if the person unfortunately is not alive? So like tzricha Rebbi Yehuda ben Lakish, it goes according to Rebbi Yehuda ben Lakish. Tanya ein matzilin es a mace b'nei atleika. We say the Tanakama says you don't save a mace from a fire. Right, the building's on fire, you don't save a mace. I'm Rabbi Yehuda ben Lakish shamati shematzilin es a mace b'nei atleika. I heard that you do save the mace from a atleika. Afilu Rabbi Yehuda ben Lakish like Kamri Yalamitash Adam Paul Al Mesa. The reason why Rabbi Yehuda ben Lakish allows you to save the mace is because a person is going to get crazy about his mace, and since if you don't let him save his mace from the burning building, we have this concept by money too. But since he's gonna get crazy, he might put out the fire. So Eli Sharis lay Asi L'Kvuye. If we don't allow him to, then he's going to put out the fire. Let's say we tell him, your mace is under the stones. You can't get him. He's not alive. What's he going to do? He's not going to do anything. So if it's in a house that's burning, he might put it out. So therefore we allow him to move it. But here, according to all opinions, you would not be allowed to move the stones because there's nothing the guy could possibly do anyways. Fine. Now this next thing is also major sugya. Taner Rabbanan. Yeah. Ad heichen hu baidik. So, and how far do you have to check to see if the person is alive or not? So ad chait moi. The first Tana comes. The first Tana says until the nose. We'll see what this means exactly in a few minutes. V'yeshem ad liba, and says till the heart. You don't have to go all the way up to the nose. So badakum matzel yainim mason. Let's say you checked and you found the top people under the rubble that they were dead. Lo yoymar kfar mesu atachtonim. Well, if the guys on the top are dead, so the ones under them, there's even more weight. So then they're also dead. And my
This we never saw firsthand in Miran.
What?
This we saw never firsthand in Miran.
Correct. Yeah, and then yeah, unfortunately. And my sayu matzo yoynim mason atachtonim chaim. And there was a mice where you found the upper people alive, and the lower people were the upper people were dead, and the lower people were alive. So therefore, what the Gemara is saying is that the first thing the Gemara is saying is that you still have to keep digging, even if you found some people that were dead, and as a machlokes whether you have to check the heart whether it's pumping, or whether you check the nose. So Gemara says, Neimahani Tanoi, Kahani Tanoi. Let's say these Tanoim go like these other Tanoim. The Tanya, Mecha Havlad Noitz. Where does a fetus grow from? So the first Tana says, Meroisha, it starts growing from the head. Shenemer Mimei Imi Ata Goizi. From my mother's womb, you what do you call it? You pulled me out. And it says Gozi Nizrech Ve'ashlichi. And pull out your hair and throw it away. So you see that Goizi means it means to pull out. Yeah. So that means it goes from the head. A baby grows from the stomach, fetus grows from the stomach. Right? Lost the place. And then it sends out. Sharosha means its roots this way and that way. So it starts from the stomach, and then it grows out from there. So l'chayra, we're saying that whatever this machlokes is, so that's based on, if you say it's from the head, so then you have to check from the nose to see if the person is breathing, right? But not from the heart. And the mandomer that says that the baby grows from the heart, that means the ikar part of the life is from the heart. So Gemara says, afilu tema abashol. Really, you could even say it's abashol who says that it's from the stomach. He's saying by creation, the kol everything comes from the middle. It starts growing from the middle. He's Abashol is that the ikar life is coming from the nose. Whatever has the nishmas chayim in its nose. So you see that the ikar of life is from the nose. Yeah. So now
how
the
does
major
that reconcile with science today?
How does it reconcile what?
How does this whole sugya reconcile with science today?
What do you mean?
In terms of chiyus, I'm saying a person cannot be breathing and still be alive, correct?
Oh, exactly. So exactly.
You have all those machines that can detect, You have all the machines that can detect any sort of movement in the heart, any sort of movement.
Right. So there's a lot of Igros Moshes. There's a lot of Igros Moshes on this sugya, where he says that if you go with the Gemara, like Akiva is saying, right? If you go with the Gemara, as long as you can't detect any breathing coming out of the nose, that's considered death, right? So the question is, do we say that if the machines are detecting brain waves and this and that, do we consider that the person is still alive? To which Ramesha and most other places would say that we do consider We do first. I mean, the first thing is brain death, right? Brain death is not death. That's klar, right? That's klar from the sugya, right? In Yiddish, by the goyim, brain death is death, even though the person's breathing, right? That's this Gemara is klar, not like that, right? To hear brain death, it's got to be the breathing has to stop. But Ramosha has a tshuva that I think the article even brings it here that even if you detect other signs of life, you still can't pull the plug, right? So anyway, so these are major sugyas, and most of it is based, a majority of it, from the chayesha like we had before, and from the brain death is all based on these gemaras right here. Fine. Okay, so Amar Rav Papa, Machlokes mimata lamala. This whole Machlokes is if somehow you uncovered the bottom of the person's body and you're going towards the top of a mamalo lamata, but to go from the top to the bottom, given the badak le'ad chaytmai, since you check to the nose, then you don't. Once you got to the nose and you see that there's no breathing, then you don't need to go any lower than that. As long as it has the nishmas ruach chaim in its nose. Yeah, fine. Okay, so that's that end of that sugi. Now we're gonna have 7 shitas. I think it's 7. 7 shitas. How we know that we're mechal Shabbos. Pikuach nefesh. Fine. The Karhayu Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Kiva, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Mahalchid b'derech. So right, and they were going on the way. The Levi Hasada, the Levi who was Masada things. Yeah, I don't know exactly what that means. Rabbi Shmuel ben Oishur, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Mahalchid achrav. Right.
Excuse me, if she.
I mean, Rashi. By the way, Rashi says he doesn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, welcome, Ravar. We're on the first wide line.
Okay.
Pay. So Rashi also says he doesn't know. Not also saying Rashi says he does not know where what this means. V'levi asada. Right. So V'levi asada. Rabbi Shmuel ben Oshur, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Mahalchan acharei. Right. So they were traveling after them. Nishal Hashelu Zubaf name, and the Shaila got asked in front of me. Nine the Pikuach Nefesh is Shabbos. How do we know the Pikuach Nefesh is Doichas Shabbos? So Nena Rabbi Shmuel Amar, Rabbi Shmuel answered and said, "In b'machteres yimtza agadav." It says, right. So we know machteres literally means a tunnel. Right. So if you find a intruder, as we would call it, coming into your house, so the thing is you're allowed to kill him. So in machteres yimtza agadav, if you find him in a tunnel under the house. But we have no idea if this guy that broke into the house is looking to kill or he's looking to get money. Shvichas damim is matama the land. And it causes the Shechina to get removed from Klal Yisrael. But you're allowed to save yourself with his nefesh. You can kill him, even though you have no idea whether the guy's coming for money or for life. So kavachomer the pikuach nefesh at Doichas Shabbos. It's a kavachomer that pikuach nefesh should be Doichas Shabbos, meaning killing somebody, which is such a bad thing. We allow it on a doubt. So of course we're going to be mechal Shabbos for that.
Didn't you say there was a ma'isa with your father and Rabbi Peir about this?
Wasn't my father? It was Rabbi Peir. Yeah, wasn't my father. It was Rabbi. Yeah, some of them heard it from Rabbi Peir. Had an intruder, and he told there was a hammer there, and he said, "I'm going to kill him and hit him over the head because he's a whatever." But he ended up doing it. But but that was the story.
He
Fine.
tried.
So that's the first. What?
He did try.
Wasn't there also my son Rabbi Yeager?
He did try. He was pulled off of him.
I don't know.
That's the way he says the story over.
Jacob, the my father was the guy sleeping in the back of the car when he went to learn in the morning.
Oh, yeah. But that I don't think he was. Yeah.
If it was my parents' car, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I had a guy sleeping in my front seat. I almost sat on him once. But the keys were in the ignition. He didn't even take the car. It took him 15 years to figure out how to take the car. But he ran out the other side of the door, so I couldn't even call the cops. But anyway, so I don't know if an intruder into a car would be considered Baba Machteres enough to kill him. Right? But anyway, it's okay. So that was the first. That was Rabbi Shmuel's shot. Rabbi Kiva, and then Rabbi Kiva said, right? So if a person, the mezid, tries to kill, so you take him from the mizbeach. If it's a kohen who and he's about to do the avodah. Yeah. So you take him from when he's about to do the avodah. Only from next to the mizbeach, not from on top of the mizbeach. Right? So therefore, we're saying you don't take him from on top. That's only if he killed. But if we need to take the kohen to say edus, then then you would take him down even from on the mizbeach, meaning they're in the middle of the court case, and they say this kohen knows testimony to save this guy. So we'll take him down from on top of the mizbeach to say edus. So with this guy, whether he's saying the truth, whether he's not saying the truth, yeah, because not the truth. We don't know if his edus is going to hold up in Bezdin. Shabbos, and we know that doing the avodah is doicha Shabbos. So kal v'chomer the pikuach nefesh is doicha Shabbos. So kal v'chomer pikuach nefesh should be doicha Shabbos. Meaning, we take this kohen out of the avodah on a doubt, right? And we know that the avodah is doicha Shabbos. So of course, it's a pikuach nefesh is going to be doicha Shabbos. Fine, that's the second. Then Rebbi Elazar v'Amar. So the bris is one of 248 Ivarim on a person. So Daichas Shabbos, Daichas Shabbos, Kavachimer, the whole Gufa should Daichas Shabbos. The culture cane, if you have to save his whole body, meaning to do a bris, which is saving one Aver on the body, we are Daichas Shabbos. So Kavachimer for the entire body, we're going to be Daichas Shabbos. Fine. Fourth pshat.
Do the first two pshatim rely on the svara of midah tova meruba? The third pshat is direct. Uh-oh. Am I frozen?
No, go ahead.
Oh.
There might be a lot of people that wish you were frozen, but you're not frozen.
The first two pshatim say you can kill someone in a certain instance or do something bad to someone. And therefore, kal v'chomer something good. That's not a straight svara. That relies on midah tova meruba midah ra.
Okay.
Is that what they're doing? It's bad since they're using the svara.
I didn't learn it like that. I thought it was just kal v'chomer.
Why is it a kal v'chomer?
What?
It's only a kal v'chomer if you have midah tova meruba. Without that, there's no svara to. How do you compare them?
Why? I understand. Why not? But the second one is for sure. The first one maybe, but the second one with Shabbos, why not? If the avodah is doicha Shabbos and trying to save somebody is doicha avodah, so then trying to save somebody is doicha Shabbos.
Oh, that one, yeah. The first one,
right?
The first one, yeah.
The first one I could hear. Okay, let's see. Right, the Rebbi Yosef, Rebbi Yehuda, as Shabbos tishmaru. You have to keep Shabbos. Yeah, Yachal L'chol. So you would think you have to keep Shabbos in every situation. Tamaloymar Ach. How do you pronounce it? Chilik. Yeah. Ach Chilik. Although, right, so Gershon says the way you pronounce it is Ach Chilik. Ach separates it.
No, today I say Chalek.
Chalek, you say?
You said Chalek. I say Chalek.
No, I said Ach Cholak.
Oh, right. I say Chalek.
I thought you said Chilek. Anyways, the art scroll here says Chilek. I happen to have learned an Ach Cholak today in Bava Kama, and the art scroll there says Cholak. I don't know if you could ask kashas like that or not. I don't know. Maybe we have to ask Mendy. I don't know, but right. But it's either Chilek, Cholak, whatever. The word Ach separates it. Ach es Shabbos tishmaru, which tells you don't have to. It's not doicha everything, and there are certain things that we don't have to keep Shabbos for, namely being mechalel Shabbos for somebody whose life is in danger. Fine.
I would be chilek with the art scroll here. Chilek is past. It did split them. That says the Torah is not perpetual. Chalek means it does, not it did.
Right. It's okay. Fair enough. Yeah, Rabbi Yonis and Yosef, I think we're up to the fifth reason. Ki kodesh ilachem, that it's kodesh. He mesura b'yedchem, right? It's given over to you. And you're not given over to Shabbos. Meaning you can't say that Shabbos is totally all-encompassing, and you're not allowed. You can't do any sort of chilul Shabbos. No, we are. It's up to us to decide when we're allowed, when we're not. Which we're going to say you don't keep Shabbos. This is the more famous one, right? That you might as well be mechalel one Shabbos in order that somebody should be able to keep many Shabbos. Last reason, Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Yehuda said, name of Shmuel. If I would have been there, I would have just said mine is better than all of the rest of them. And now the rest of them are Tanoim, right? Shmuel's and Amoira. He said mine would have been better because it says the Torah, the mitzvahs are meant to live with them and don't die with them, right? That's true. As I said, the last one was the most famous. This one's the most famous, right? That you're not supposed to die with the mitzvahs, except for the big three, like we did a couple of daf ago, right? Bila Rayas, Sheikhas Damim, and Avoid the Zara, right? So you don't, you're daicha all mitzvahs in order to save lives. Fine. So Amar Rava, Lakulu Islu Pircha, Barba the Shul, the Leslie Pircha. On all the Tanoim, we have kashas on what they learned out, except for Shmuel. So Rabbi Shmuel, right? Rabbi Shmuel, Dilma Kidarava, maybe, right? There maybe holds like Rava, Dama Rava, my time of the Machteres. Again, Rabbi Shmuel had said that we learn it out from a guy that comes into your house. So we're not even sure whether he's coming to money or to kill you, and you're allowed to kill him. Right? So Kol Shekain on a suffix, you're going to be mechalel Shabbos. So Chazaka ain't other ma'amid atzmei al. We have a Chazaka that a person is not going to just let somebody take his money. Right? He's going to defend it. I made the yada the koilape, and the crook knows that this guy's going to go all out to save his money. And he says, if he's going to stand in front of me, I'm going to kill him. If somebody comes to kill you, you should get up and kill him first. Right? So that's what he's learning. But that only tells you that it's a vadai, right? Safek minalon. How do you know that there's a suffix? How do you know that where there's a suffix b'koach nefesh, you're allowed to be doicha Shabbos? Rabbi Kiva Nami. Rabbi Kiva also. Dilma kidabaya. Damar abaya. Masrina le zuga derabanan. We always send a pair of talmidei chacham leida in mamash bedvarim. Again, he's going on with the kohen that we take the kohen. If a kohen is a murderer, we don't take him off the mizbeach. We wait till he comes down. But if he knows testimony to save somebody, then we do take him off, even though we don't know if his testimony is going to hold up in court. So Abaye said, no, we send two rabbis to the Beis HaMikdash to interrogate him, to find out if he's going to stand up in court. Right? And the same thing, we find a vada with a suffix minolan. How do we know that the suffix is going to be mechal Shabbos? Right? Because it's only a vade that we're going to allow. It's a vade by the machteres, and it's only a vade by the kohen. Bikulu ashkachon vade suffix minolan, and all of these, the first 7 reasons by all the tanoim, it only tells us that if it's a vade pikuach nefesh, it's doicha Shabbos. It does not tell us about a suffix. So suffix minolan. So how do we know from the suffix? Yeah. So then uda Shmuel, but vade less le pircha, but Shmuel there's no kasha. Why not? Because it says v'chai b'hem, which means, what does v'chai b'hem mean? Right? Rashi says that the mitzvahs are done. The Rashi right before the Mishna, if you want to look at it inside, sheyas adam a mitzvah sheyichye b'hem vadai, v'lo sheyavi b'asiyas lidei suffik misa. You shouldn't come to any suffik misa. Alma mechalel ala suffik. Therefore, you see that we're mechal Shabbos even on a suffix. So Shmuel's reason ended up being the strongest, even though he's an Amoira. Some Ravina, Vitem Ranachar Yitzchak, Tova Chada Pepalta Charifa, Mimalay Tzina the Kari. It's better one sharp pepper, which is small, because Shmuel was an Amoira, so he was much smaller than Tanoim, but he was sharper, right? Better one small sharp pepper than a whole basket of kri, of some sort of fruits or melons, whatever it is. Right? Fine. Yeah. Okay, so now that's the end of that whole chiyuvim, pikuach nefesh. Now we start with the heavy duty tshuva gemaras. That takes us to the end of the Masechta. So look the Mishna. Chatas v'asham vadai mechapre. If somebody brings a chatas and he brings an asham, yeah, then that's for sure a kapara. Misa v'yom kippurim mechapre tshuva. If somebody dies and he does tshuva, and Yom Kippur, if he does tshuva, are mechaper. We're going to see in the Gemara is it a shita that not like that. Tshuva mechaperes al averos kalos. Tshuva gives you a kapara for the light averos. Al essay, val lois essay, and it gives you a kapara on not doing mitzvahs essays and on doing lois essays, val chumras, right? And on chamuras. I'm sorry, I said chumras. Yeah, but you have to do tshuva for doing chumras. No, val chamuras. Right, and the strict averos who toila atriyava Yom Kippur v'yachaper. That's going to wait until Yom Kippur comes in mechaper. Meaning, the middle of the year you do something wrong that's major, so you do tshuva. The tshuva is going to be hanging until Yom Kippur. If somebody says I'm going to do a chet, then I'll do tshuva. I'll do a chet. And I'll do tshuva. I have the get out of jail free card. Ein speaking biyadi las tshuva. Then he's not going to be given the wherewithal to be able to do tshuva. Meaning, of course, somebody could do something wrong and do tshuva, and then do something wrong and say, "Oh, I'll do tshuva afterwards." That's fine, but Hashem is not going to give him the ability to help to do more tshuva. If he says I'm going to do,
how does that work with? Isn't there a Gemara that if you want to do it a very and you can't control yourself, you go into black and you go far away or something. You wear black and you go.
Correct. Yeah, but you still need to do tshuva. You still need to do tshuva, no?
But if you're doing all that stuff, you know you're going to do tshuva afterwards.
You hope.
Right? You're going far away.
Liner, I had a Goyish co-worker, and I asked him, "You going to church this week?" He says, "Nope, not this week. My buddy's coming in, and he says, no need for me to go and ask for forgiveness. If I know what I'm doing next week, I'm going to save it up and go the week after." That's what this Mishna is talking about.
That's yeah, exactly, 100%. It's 100%. Yeah, that's exactly what it's saying, right? But we got to do a little bit more work to do the tshuva, though, right? Fine. So if he says I'm going to do a chet and Yom Kippur will be mechaper, and Yom Kippur mechaper, Yom Kippur doesn't work. Fine. Averos should be under the makom. Averos that are between a person and Hashem, Yom Kippur mechaper, Yom Kippur is mechaper. Averos should be under the chaveroi. Averos that are between a man and his friend, and Yom Kippur mechaper. Achi yirtzes chaveroi, achi yiratzes chaveroi. Right, until he makes until he's meratzes his friend. I mean, you can't. That's where everybody runs around on Erev Yom Kippur saying "Meichel me, Meichel me, Meichel me." All that nourishment. That's where that comes from. Yeah. It says from all of Hashem's chatoim, you're going to be Torah. Averos between a man and the makom, Yom Kippur is mechaper. Averos Yom Kippur mechaper until you ask mechila from your friend. Amar Rebbi Kiva, Ashreichem Yisrael, right, Rabbaran, this is your favorite. Amar Rebbi Kiva, Ashreichem Yisrael, Lefnei mi atem betar. Praise this Klal Yisrael. Who are they coming to be metar? Mi metar esem. Who is the one that's making them tar? Avichem sheba shemayim. It's Hashem and Shemayim. Shenem v'zarakti aleichem mayim tahirim utahartem. V'aymer mikveh Yisrael Hashem. Mikveh Yisrael is Hashem. Ma mikveh metar esatemeim. Just like a mikveh is metar temeim. Af HaKadosh Baruch Hu metar es Yisrael. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is also metar Yisrael. Right. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is our mikveh. You do tshuva, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes it back, right, Parrots? There's your song. Yeah.
I was about to say, Parrots. I could be wrong, but I think that's the niggin of the daf today.
That's for sure. Yeah. Fine. So the Gemara is going to go through. Yeah.
In the Mishnah, there's a difference in the lashon between echtev ashuv and echtev Yom Kippur mechaper. In echtev ashuv, it says it twice.
Right. That's the Gemara is going to ask.
Does that mean someone? Okay.
It's not going to ask the second part, but it's going to ask the first part. So I don't know why it checked. Maybe it does ask. It definitely asks the first part. Definitely asks.
It's mashma that only someone who says echtev ashuv consistently, correct, then won't be allowed to do tshuva.
Tiago, correct me if I'm wrong, but Rav Noson's fee said of art, like what's shot Rashi always says on the Gemara, B'Alfinan, we'll learn it out later on. Because he wants you to keep going and you'll get to it.
Here's your mussar from parrots. All right. So asham vadai, and it sounds like only in asham vadai you get a kapara. Asham talui loy, but if it's an asham talui, not. Asham talui is if you're not sure whether you did a chet. Right? Let's say you have a piece of fat on the table. That's the classic case. The classic example, you have a piece of fat on the table, right? 2 pieces of fat, I'm sorry. Right? And you thought that they were both kosher, and you ate one of them. And then you find out one was treif and one was kosher. So now you don't know if you did a chet, you'll never know. So you bring what's called an asham talui. You bring a carbon that's talui. If you did the avera, then it's a carbon. If not, not. So it's masher in our Mishnah, only asham vadai.
Didn't we have that the other daf where we had the other pieces and you said they're all fine, even though you know for sure one of them is no good?
Correct. But here it's mechza, it's only 50-50. There's it's a majority. Here it's 50-50.
So one piece is slightly bigger, then that's fine.
Oh, then maybe, yeah, you'd have to know. So it's about kapara ksiv, it says kapara by asham talui. My answer is Hana mechapri kapara gemura. The chatos and the asham give you a full kapara. Asham talui ain't mechapri kapara gemura, and asham talui does not give you a kapara gemura, right? Because it's not. You don't know. You don't even know if you need the. He can't do a full tshuva, right? If he didn't know that he was doing that, he needed to do the tshuva. It's a very difficult thing to do a tshuva from a quasi aver that you're not even sure you did. Inami hanach ein acher mechaper kaparasa. The other ones, meaning chatas and asham, there's no other way to get a tshuva. Asham talui acher mechaper kaparasa. There is a way to get tshuva from an asham talui. The tanan chayve chatois v'ashamis v'dayin. You have a chayiv chatas and asham that are vadai she'over alei in Yom Kippur that passed over Yom Kippur chayav, and then you still chayiv to bring the asham talui. The asham, I'm sorry, asham is talui and peturin, but asham talui is potter. It's an interesting thing, right? Let's say a guy today, by mistake, does something that needs to bring a carbon chatas. So he brings the carbon chatas, right? Even meaning if he decides to bring the carbon chatas sukkah's time, right? So you say, oh, I did Yom Kippur, I don't have to bring the carbon, I did tshuva. No, you have to. But in asham talui, if you passed Yom Kippur and you did the tshuva, then you won't have to bring the asham talui, which makes you think that why would anybody bring the asham talui? Just wait until after Yom Kippur, and then you got out of asham talui, right? Fine. Is this Yom Kippur
being is that Yom Kippur being mechaper without tshuva? How do you do tshuva for asham talui?
You say if I need to do tshuva, I need to do tshuva. If not, I think.
I mean, it's not a tshuva.
Well, that's part of the issue with asham talui, right? That's part of the issue. Yeah. Okay, let's just see the next 2 dots. Misa v'yom Kippur mechaper and tshuva. Ima tshuva in b'fnei atzman loy. It's mashma that it's only Misa and Yom Kippur only work if you do tshuva, but b'fnei atzman, right? Meaning death without tshuva or Yom Kippur without tshuva doesn't work. Name it the like Rebbi. Now this has got to be the greatest shita in all of Shas, right? Name it the like Rebbi. Let's say this is not like Rebbi. The tiny Rebbi over. I'll call aver shibet Torah. Bain asa tshuva, bain lo asa tshuva. On every aver in the Torah, listen to this sheet. It's unbelievable. Whether you do tshuva or whether you don't do tshuva, Yom Kippur mechaper. Yom Kippur gives a kapara, right? Even if you don't do tshuva, Yom Kippur is wipes it clean, right? Which I don't think we pass like Rebbe, but it's a fine shita to know about, right? Whenever you get the bottom line, whenever you middle that long you just ran out of koyach. What?
I'm saying daven in Rebbe's Beis Medrash.
Correct. I'm just saying it's a good sheet to know when you're middle of that long Yom Kippur davening and you're like, I'm not concentrating. You say, you know what? I got Rebbe. I got Rebbe's sheet, right? You go up to Shemayim and you say, you're Samech on Rebbe. I promise you, it ain't going to be so bad, right? Anyway.
That's why the Kehanim Gedolim in the second Beis Hamikdash all passed him like Rebbe. They wanted to die in Yom Kippur.
I hear. Anyways, except for a few averos. Let's be Pyrik Ol, which is interesting Girsa issues here. Pyrikol means you just Pyrikol, which every mashgiach loves those terms. Like you throw off the yoke. but the Maseres Shas brings that haloyagal chaveroi, if you laugh at your friend, which is a major change in the Gemara, and it's a pretty scary one too, right? Because you laugh at your friend, then according to that girsa from the Maseres Shas, then it doesn't work Yom Kippur, which unfortunately I think, whatever, we're not going to be mekatrik, but the internet, it doesn't, fine. The rest will remain, we'll keep it blank. Right? Umagala panam b'Torah means if you magala the face of the Torah, meaning you belittle it. Umay for bris basar, and you may for the bris basar, which is the mila, you don't do a bris. Shem asa tshuva yom kippur mechaber. Then if you do tshuva, then you kippur mechaber. V'im lo yasa tshuva, ein yom kippur mechaber. If you don't do tshuva, yom kippur is not going to be mechaber. So it seems like our Mishna is not like Rebbi. Gemara says no. If you look at Rebbi, tshuva by Yom Kippur, tshuva needs Yom Kippur, right? Like we said, that the strict averos need Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, loy by tshuva, but Yom Kippur does not need tshuva. Meaning, really, Rebbe can agree. We're saying in our Mishnah that the tshuva, you can fit it into the Mishnah that the tshuva doesn't, Yom Kippur doesn't need tshuva, but tshuva will need Yom Kippur. Okay, we'll stop over here. So probably tomorrow night will be earlier. I'm not exactly sure, probably around 7:15, but I'll send it out to the other. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Good
Sorry.
enough.
What time tomorrow?
Probably 7:15-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yaakov, are you
All
allowed
right.
to do the daf in City Field, or it's only davening?
Mistama, you could do the daf in City Field. Mistama, you could do it in City Field. I would think.
I
But,
think I'm going tomorrow.
Byron, he asked the Shiloh for you. That's the shot.
It's been a
I
practice.
hear.
We did practice.
If
Maybe-
you and I can live, we can gang up on Gershon together.
yeah. All right.
Yeah, Parrots, talking about ganging up on me.
All right,
Like,
I'm running
3
tonight.
seconds. Parrots, you still there?
I'm still here.
3 seconds after you ripped me one for not waiting for the rest of the Gemara, you asked a question on something 5 blot ago.
That's fine. You're allowed to ask questions, but if you're going to ask a question that the Gemara, you know what I mean? The Gemara's going to ask it. That's fine. But then you stop. That means you got to wait. You need to have focus. Don't jump the gun.
Yeah.
Doesn't it say Megalim Torah Shalom Kalacha? I would think that would have been a definition. Megalim.
What? Megalim Panam Torah?
Yeah, there's a Megalim Palim Shalom Kalacha. Isn't the Chalak Hamava? But you distort the Torah, so you come up with, anti-halachic statements, as did the Shabtai Tzvi Machshmo.
Yeah, there's a lot of shatim on that.
Matir Asuri means, I'm sorry?
There's a lot of different shatim on any Eino Chelik Leilam Haba. What does it mean? The Rambam says in a couple of places that it says Eino Chelik Leilam Haba, Haragil Bekach, someone who often does such a thing. Usually, let's say Malbin Pnei Chaver B'Rabim. Yeah, the Gemara says Malbin Pnei Chaver B'Rabim Eino Chelik Leilam Haba. The way the Rambam says it, he says a ragil bekach ein lo chelik leilam haba. Someone who does it once still has a chelik. He can do tshuva, but a ragil bekach can't do tshuva.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All
Otherwise,
right.
it's a stira. It's a stira with kol yisrael yesh lo chelik leilam haba.
Well, sort of.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Good night.
All right. Have a good night.
Hey, Doc, you heard tomorrow might be earlier.
Yeah, I heard that. That's not going to keep me from texting you at about 8:15.
All right, you got it.
The minhag.
I'll speak.
Listen, you can learn Daf Yomi Ben Prakim tomorrow.
I don't know. We'll see.
Is it a Mets game? Is it a Mets game?
Sure.
Why
Not
waste
sure.
time on a Mets game?
It's a bonding moment.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Good night. Good night.